Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm not gonna be driving, but I wanna talk about the highlights of my life and cars. Better get your popcorn ready. Let's start from the beginning. My first real supercar was a 1990 Ferrari F40. And boy, I wish I still had that car. This was 2005. I think I paid $325,000 for a car. And I was an amateur, didn't know how to drive. A classic supercar. And that car is a monster. You gotta really know what you're doing. You gotta warm up the oil, not just the tires, warm up the brakes, and let the car warm up overall. Take a few hot laps before you push it hard. And sadly, I didn't do that. I ended up spinning and losing control, hit a tree. Thank God it was on a cul-de-sac, so nobody else was around. And I ended up selling the car to a wrecking yard for $141,000. But honestly, buying such a monster supercar, 2005 was 17 years ago, was such a monumental moment for me when it comes to supercars. And I've been trying to buy that car ever since, and I just can't catch up the prices. They keep going up and up and up. I can't get a break. I think they're like $3 million for a really good US model low mile F40. But I'm gonna add one to my stable. It's on my bucket list. You just gotta make sure when those turbos kick in on F40, you're going straight away and not turning. Funny story about my F40, I was looking for another one shortly after, and I found one in Oregon, well priced compared to other listings. And I called the guy and said, is there any stories with this car? He says, no, the previous owner didn't know how to drive a F40. He had a fender bender and he broke the rear axle. I'm like, interesting. So I told him, send me the Carfax. I checked the VIN number against my old file, and sure enough, it's my car. The guy was shocked when I told him who I am, and he hung up the phone and took the ad down. All right, my second milestone with cars was doing the Hermes project with Pagani. So when I first reached out to Hermes, I said, would you guys do this project with me? I have a really cool limited production, very expensive supercar. It's Pagani Hyra. Of course, they didn't know what I'm talking about until I looked it up. But I said, would you guys do it? They said, well, if you pay us for time and travel for our head designer to go fly over there to meet Mr. Pagani, we'll see if there is enough compromise between the two brands to do the project. So I agreed. I ended up sending the designers of Hermes to Mr. Pagani's factory. They had a one-day meeting, and they called me the next day. They say, I think there is enough compromise. We can do a collaboration. And I was blown away. I was like, wow. Well, you never know until you try. The project started and took about 18 months. And it was a very nice journey and a lot of compromise between the two brands, a lot of back and forth, a lot of yeses and a lot of no's. But the project, I must say, is truly a piece of art in automotive history, and it's never been done before. Surely they've used Hermes leather in cars before on some of the Bugattis, but when it comes to changing the design and making the small details when it comes to the interior of the car, it's never been done as far as I know. This was an amazing experience. I ended up meeting the design team at the Hermes factory in Paris. I went over all the different options, different designs on the luggage set, interior, very cool project, and got some of the designers that actually designed the car and some of the installers that actually stitched my seats to sign some of the leather and meet me in person and did a group picture. Very memorable. I'll never forget this experience. So my second milestone at the Hermes factory and meeting the designers at Hermes actually leads me to my third milestone, meeting Mr. Pagani at his factory. This was a really surreal experience. This, of course, happened while my car was in production. So I flew over to Italy. I met Mr. Hiroshi Pagani. We had lunch. He even drew a really cool Pagani on a large poster. And he's a true artist. And I gotta go find that poster. That's probably worth some bucks. He loved the Hermes project. He even thanked me for introducing them to Hermes designers. He thought it was a really nice touch and a very classy design finish. And of course, he's a designer himself, an artist, so the top two brands in the world, one in automotive and one in leather goods, coming together to build this masterpiece for me was an amazing experience, very memorable. At the time, of course, I had many supercars on order, but I thought the Pagani was a perfect suited car to collaborate with Hermes because the attention to detail from Hiroshi Pagani and Hermes, it's just two iconic designers in each their own, the best in the market. It would be the perfect suited brand. My fourth milestone, of course, was meeting Christian Koenigsegg at Geneva Auto Show, checking my Gryphon Agero RS on the display. Wow, that was amazing. Of course, as you guys know, that car never made it to me, but he made me even a better car, the Phoenix. That car was just a beast that scared the crap out of me. Kind of reminds me of the F40, but times 10. A lot of horsepower. You gotta know how to drive that car, and I do miss that car. But don't worry, I got a Yesco coming. I just gotta decide whether I'm gonna go with the Absolute or the track version, Yesco. And I'm leaning towards Yesco. Unless they break the speed limit, which I'm sure Christian is working on, and that's gonna be a different story. I'm gonna have to switch it to Absolute then. But going to Geneva Auto Show was an amazing experience. Who's who in the automotive industry is there. A lot of great energy, a lot of amazing concept cars. It's really eye-opener if you're into cars, so I highly recommend it. It's definitely a bucket list item. And last but not least, my fifth milestone when it comes to cars was doing my own car show in January 2020, unveiling my Bugatti Hermes edition. And that was something I didn't expect. I think I had like 2,000 people show up. The streets were blocked, shut down, and I wasn't really prepared for that. But it was amazing to have some of you guys come, meet you in person, take pictures. This was an amazing experience, seeing everyone's reaction, seeing my car for the first time, and energy is contagious. I was all pumped up. I think I didn't even eat lunch till 6 p.m. I was so pumped up. So thanks again for all of you guys that made it. I'm looking forward to do my next car show at the new property, the Old Trinity Broadcasting Network, and hopefully it'll be as great of a success as our first car show. So check out my Instagram and follow me there, and look out for an update on that. Now let's just do a bonus one. I was at the Monterey Car Week, and you guys know it's the biggest car meet in US, undoubtedly, every August. And this was 2014, and Bugatti brought all their Legend Series cars, and of course my Rembrandt was there, and in their VIP section, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was there admiring the car, taking pictures of the car. And of course I took a few pictures, and I told myself, man, I missed the boat on this beautiful car. And obviously it was sold to a customer, but what do you know, destiny comes full circle. The previous owner passed away sadly, and I ended up buying the car a few years later, and now it's sitting in my garage. I would say that's a pretty good milestone when your idol is admiring a car and you end up buying that car a few years later. I gotta get Arnold over here, take a picture together with a car. So Arnold, if you're watching this, come on down. I got a fat cigar for you and the Rembrandt Bugatti. We'll go for a ride. All right guys, that will do it. Hope you guys enjoy my 6 milestones with the car industry, and these milestones to be continued. God willing, be safe, be well. Make sure you subscribe, like the video. See you guys next week. So I sold this for $40.7 million 2 years ago. So I made about close to $12 million. Residential investors work longer hours for lower returns compared to commercial real estate investors. Contrarian Academy helps residential investors successfully acquire their first commercial property in 6 months or less. There's a lot of pockets of opportunity where you can take great real estate that's located in great location and repurpose it. While one state, for example, Houston, that's heavily invested in oil and gas industry, is experiencing a recession, you may have another state like California experiencing the economic boom. You don't really have to wait for a global economic recession to jump out and invest your money and buy real estate. Apply now by clicking the link below.